There's a big difference between HOA rules and criminal trespassing. The president of the HOA across from my ranch didn't understand that. She thought her title gave her permission to walk onto private land, enter a closed barn, and start shouting demands. But when she pushed too far, when she cornered me in my own barn, ignored 3 warnings, and reached for one of my tools, I defended myself with pepper spray. And guess what? She called the cops. But once the sheriff saw the footage, she's the one who left in handcuffs. My ranch life. I own a 20-acre ranch just outside of a private HOA neighborhood called Eagle Ridge Hills. They're a tightly packed community of about 60 homes with their own pool, clubhouse, and a board that acts like it runs the whole zip code. But my ranch was here before Eagle Ridge even existed. I've got the deed, easement rights, fencing, zoning docs, all in my name, and absolutely no HOA involvement. Still, that never stopped their president, let's call her Claudia, from trying to control everything around her. The petty escalation. It started with letters shoved into my mailbox. Your barn is visible from the road and violates visual harmony. We noticed livestock near the perimeter fence. This is a concern for Eagle Ridge. Please remove the feed bags. They're unsightly. All nonsense. I called, I explained, I'm not part of the HOA. She said, just because you're not in the community doesn't mean you're above standards. Wrong. It means I'm outside your jurisdiction. The day she crossed the line. It was a Saturday. I was inside my barn, oiling some tack, door closed but not locked because, it's my private ranch. Suddenly, the door creaked open. I looked up. Claudia stood there in her signature pastel blazer and white sneakers, holding a manila folder and a phone. We need to talk about your livestock violations. You've ignored too many warnings. You need to leave. This is trespassing. I'm not trespassing. I'm on community-adjacent land and I have documentation. She stepped forward. If you're hiding something in here, I will report it. This barn smells like a code violation. I stood up and calmly said, I'm asking you one last time. Leave. You're not allowed here. Then she reached toward one of my tools on the wall, possibly just to point, but I wasn't about to take that risk. The pepper spray moment. I grabbed the can of pepper spray I keep clipped to my belt, same one I use around predators and coyotes, and sprayed right between us, enough to make her freeze and recoil instantly. She dropped her phone, screamed, stumbled out the door. I stayed calm, locked the barn, and called the sheriff myself. Trespasser entered my barn, refused to leave. I deployed pepper spray as a deterrent. Everything is on camera. The sheriff's arrival and the flip. 10 minutes later, the sheriff showed up. Claudia was still outside the gate, crying and filming herself, saying things like, he sprayed me for no reason. I'm the HOA president. I was doing my job. Then the deputy watched the footage, saw her enter, saw me warn her 3 times, saw her ignore every one of them. The officer turned to her and said, Ma'am, you're lucky this didn't escalate further. You broke the law. She tried to object. He said, you entered private property without permission. That's a crime. You were told to leave. That's a second offense. And you tried to make physical contact. Claudia was arrested on the spot for criminal trespass, harassment, and violation of county access laws. The aftermath. I filed a restraining order. The court granted it immediately. The HOA board was forced to release a public apology. We do not condone the former president's actions and recognize that she acted beyond the scope of her role. Claudia, removed from the board, ordered to pay my legal fees, and banned from setting foot on my property again. The new sign at the gate. This land is private. Unauthorized entry will be documented and defended. And beneath that, my patience is smaller than my dog. Final thoughts. She thought her HOA title made her immune. She thought my barn was hers to inspect. She thought I'd back down because she had a folder and a fake sense of power. But she forgot. This is my land, my rules, and when you cross the line, I don't call your board. I call the law.